Hi everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight I'll be rating the 2022 NRL Jerseys. Some of you out there might get excited about player transfers and things like that, but for me personally, I'm big on new jerseys. I'm big on the release of jerseys and the launches and all that caper. So tonight I'll be rating the 2022 NRL jerseys. Just remember that this is my own personal opinion. Everyone's going to have their own definition of what's a good jersey and what's not a good jersey. So I'm just going to be giving me ratings tonight. And just remember, it's just my own personal opinion. The first jerseys I'm going to be rating tonight are the Brisbane jerseys, home and away. So they got pretty much the same jerseys as they did in 2021. And I think the only difference with this shirt this year is the sponsor. I believe it's still Kia, although they've changed their logo design. I like the colours of this kit. It's a Brisbane kit. I like the band going across the middle. That kind of goes back to the days of the late 80s and 1990s. And I don't mind the collar either. So I think that the home kit is very nice. Of course, Adam Reynolds is showing this kit in the video, and it looks a bit weird to see him wearing a Brisbane kit. But I think this kit is quite good. And now we move on to the away kit. The away kit, it's not as good as the home kit, but it's kind of the reverse colours in a way, and it's got the band going across the middle. Sponsor placement once again is all right. I think home and away, the Brisbane kits for 2022 are sound. I prefer the home one over the away one. I'll probably give the home one an 8.5 out of 10, and I'll give the away kit for Brisbane a 7 out of 10. Next up, we have the Canberra kits. Canberra's decided to go with a new colour palette. They've kept the lime green, but they've gone for this weird sort of navy blue colour, which it doesn't really look like a Canberra kit, the home one. The sponsor's alright, got no issue with the sponsor, but the home kit was launched last year. This is the second year cycle. They didn't wear the home kit too much last year. They elected to stay with the retro kit with the Canberra milk on the front. I personally don't really like the home kit for Canberra. I think it's not a very good looking shirt. I'm going to have to give the home shirt a 2 out of 10. I'm very disappointed with this kit. I don't really like it. It doesn't really look like a Canberra shirt, to be fair. And now we move on to the away kit. The away kit the home shirt didn't look like a Canberra kit. The away one doesn't look like a Canberra kit at all either. It's got a very weird navy blue, sky blue, and combination with a green strip going through the middle. The sponsor's sound, but I don't like this kit either. I'd have to give the Canberra away shirt a 2 out of 10, just like the home shirt. But then we move on to the retro kit, which I think's the best kit out of the lot. They had Canberra Milk as the sponsor last year. This year, they've got Toyota forklifts. I think this should be the permanent home shirt for Canberra. It's a very nice kit. It's got the traditional colours, and it's got the bands going around the sleeves there. I imagine that they'll probably use this kit a lot next year. They probably won't wear the home and away ones too much like they did in 2021, but that's my view on the Canberra kits. And here is Canterbury's home shirt for 2022. What else is there to see about this shirt? It's a Canterbury kit. Canterbury have had this design for around the last 50 years or so. They've got a sponsor. They had a bit of issues with sponsors, but last year they had Laundry Hotels. They're continuing with Laundry. It's a nice shirt. It's got the inside, the collar there. It's got the years that Canterbury won the Premiership. And this is the away shirt for Canterbury in 2022. Very similar to the home shirt. It's a Canterbury kit. What else is there to see? I give both of the Canterbury home and away shirts 8 out of 10. I think they're solid. And I think they're good shirts. There isn't really too much to add. They pretty much wear the same kit pretty much year in, year out, Canterbury. And now we go on to Cronulla's home shirt for 2022. The home shirt for Cronulla in 2022 was very nice. It's traditional. It's the design that they've had for a very long time. I like the sponsor placement. The sponsor placement looks very similar to the sponsors that they had in the early 90s with the red writing inside the white band there. I like the way the collar looks. I like the home shirt. It looks very good. And now we move on to the away shirt for 2022 for Cronulla. Once again, it's very nice away shirts. Very similar design to the home shirts. Sponsor looks good. I like the collar and the sleeves there. There's not too many teams that wear a black away kit, but I quite like these ones. I'll give both of these a 9 out of 10. I really like Cronulla's home and away kits for 2022. And now we move on to the Gold Coast home and away shirts for 2022. Nick from Australia's favourite team in the world. This Gold Coast shirt is an improvement on the one that they had last year and the ones before that. They finally got shot of that ugly orange Ned sponsor on the front. I think this sponsor looks much better on the kit. They've got a new logo as well. I don't mind this shirt. I mean, they're not great, but it's certainly an improvement on last year. And here is the away kit for Gold Coast. It's a predominantly white one with the sort of light blue and the yellow on the collar there. The sponsor placement's not too bad. As I said, it's a lot better than the Neds sponsor going back in the past. I'd probably have to give the Gold Coast shirts home and away 6 out of 10. I don't think that they're great, but they're certainly an improvement on previous designs. Now we're on to Manly's kits for 2022, and these ones both look very good. This is the home one. It's very traditional with the maroon, and then you've got the white bands going across. We've seen this design used a lot throughout Manly's history. The sponsor placement is good. The collar looks good. Everything looks good about this home shirt for Manly. I think Pro Enzo Vids has already bought his for 2022. And now we move on to the away shirt for Manly. It's exactly the same design except that it's white with maroon bands. This was actually their home shirt in the late 70s and early 1980s there. I love these two shirts. I think they're smashing. I'm probably going to have to say that they're one of the best ones to come out for 2022. I'm going to give both the Manly home and away shirts 9.5 out of 10. I think that they're both very, very nice. This is Melbourne's shirt for 2022. As you see in the comment section there, someone asked the question, is this going to be the home kit? And the Melbourne club confirmed that it's a 2-year cycle with their shirt. So the shirts that you saw in 2021 will be there in 2022. If you watch me rating jerseys for 2021 video, I said that I didn't like the Melbourne shirts. Now that's not because I hate Melbourne as a club, which I do, but they're just not nice looking shirts. They look quite cheap. They look like they're from Big W or Kmart or something like that. So for the Melbourne shirts of 2022, I'm going to give them about a 2 out of 10. They've had better kits in the past, and I'm pretty sure in 2023 you'll see a new design by them. We now go on to the Newcastle home and away jerseys for 2022. They've got the colours right for the home shirt and the away shirt. It's what we've seen in the past, but that sponsor, that NIB sponsor, ruins both the home and away shirts. I also don't really like with this one what they've done with. It kind of looks like a lower placed V. I'm not really a fan of that. When I think about Newcastle kits, I think about blue and red vertical stripes, like they had when they won the Premiership in 1997 and what they've won in the past. I'm not really a fan of both these Newcastle shirts. The sponsor ruins it, unfortunately, and I'm pretty sure most Newcastle fans would say that as well. So I'd have to give the Newcastle home and away shirts about a 3 out of 10. I'm not very impressed with them. I don't like them. So that's me rating for the Newcastle shirts. We move on to the North Queensland ones now. Home and away. This is the home shirt for 2022. It's one that they wore last year. I quite like this one. It's got the club colours. If you notice inside inside like the Toyota thing, it's got the cow horns. That's a bit of a nice touch. The sponsors are quite good on this shirt. I like the grey collar. And for the away's a very traditional shirt. It looks like similar to the one that they wore in the mid-90s, and it's a shirt that I actually really like. I like it more than the home one, actually. Once again, it's got the horns inside the Toyota sponsor there. But I really like the away more than the home. So for the home, I'll give it around a 7.5 out of 10. And for the away shirt, I'll give that an 8 out of 10. I really like the away shirt for North Queensland in 2022. This is the 2022 Parramatta home jersey. The club's moved away from the 1986 design this year, and they've gone back to a design that has been used throughout the club's history at differing periods. I really like this home jersey. The colours are very nice. I like the sponsor placements. The only thing that kind of looks a bit weird is the lines go on either side of the Telstra Premiership and Parramatta logo. Here's the away one. The away shirt for Parramatta is exactly the same as the home one, except that the colours are reversed, as you can see. I think the 2022 Parramatta home and away kits are very nice. I'd have to give them both about an 8.5 out of 10. I'd probably say that I prefer the blue one, predominantly blue one, but this away one is quite nice. And then there's also a third kit as well, which has divided the fan base. Not everyone likes it, but here it is here. It was used predominantly last year as the away kit, but this year it's moved back to the third kit. I don't mind it. We've only worn a white jersey once or twice in the past. The last one that we wore in 2013 was ugly. This one is not too bad. I know everyone's got a different opinion, but I'd have to give the away kit, well, the third kit, the white one for Parramatta, a 7.5 out of 10. So Parramatta's done really, really well in the jersey department for 2022. And here we have the 2022 home shirt for Penrith. It's no change from last year. They're still going with the predominantly black design with the licorice all sorts stripes going across the chest there with the Oak Plus. Now it's changed. It's a very nice home shirt. I'd have to give it an 8.5 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. I really like the home kit for Penrith, but no changes for the defending premiers. Now we move on to the away kit for 2022, which is the Pink Panther jersey. I'm not really particularly a fan of the Pink Panther jerseys, but they wore this one last year. They wear it with black shorts. I think it's not the worst kit in the world, but it's not something that I would buy if I was a Penrith fan walking around with a pink shirt. But I'd have to give that one a 6 out of 10. But now we move on to the best one of the lot, and I think this should be Penrith's permanent home kit. The retro kit, it's based off the 1991 through to 1996 design. The licorice all sorts, it's a classic. I love this kit. I think it just screams Penrith. And I'd have to give this one a 9 out of 10. I think they should have worn it a lot more last year, but hopefully they wear it a bit more in 2022. Now we move on to St George, the red V. Never before, never again, 11 in a row. For St George's home kits, it's one of my favourites. They've worn exactly the same kit for the last 70 years or so. It's always been the red V. I'd have to give the home shirt for St George a 9 out of 10. It's a timeless classic. I think it's one of the most iconic kits in rugby league. So 9 out of 10 for the home one. But for the away kit, very ugly. Very, very ugly. I don't know what they were trying to think. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this kit, but this is definitely a miss for St George. I think mainly they try to make it as red as possible to try to fit in the Illawarra side of the joint venture, but I'd have to give this one about a 2 out of 10. I'm not a fan of this one at all, and I think a lot of the St George fans would have to agree with me on that one. We now move on to the South Sydney home and away kits. Now for this one, they've posed with both kits for the camera, as you can see. South Sydney have worn pretty much exactly the same kit for the last 114 years, except for a brief period when they did the whole Mitty design in the late 70s, early 80s. It's a South Sydney kit, but the problem with this one is the sponsor. The sponsor ruins it. I mean, it doesn't really ruin the kit, but it doesn't necessarily make it look nice with that big MG sticker just slapped on the middle. And apparently I read that that's going to be the sponsor for the next 3 to 4 years at South Sydney, but I'd have to give the home and away kits for South Sydney an 8 out of 10. It's just that the sponsor ruins it for me. Now we move on to the Sydney Roosters / Eastern Suburbs home and away kits for 2022. For the home kit, it's an Eastern Suburbs kit. They pretty much worn the same jersey design for the last 60 or 70 years. They're another club that never changes the design. And I'd have to say it's one of the most iconic kits in rugby league as well. I quite like the home shirt. I'll give it an 8.5, 9 out of 10. They're cracking kits. For the away kits, they generally do this where they make it predominantly white. I've got no problem with this shirt at all. I think it looks all right, but I've always preferred Sydney Roosters East to be in the home kit. I really like the home kit. The away one, I'm not really big on away ones, but I think it's all right for an away kit. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10 for the away one, but the home shirt is definitely the best at Sydney Roosters. Now we move on to probably one of the best kits for 2022. This is the New Zealand Warriors home shirt. It's a very, very nice shirt. They've decided to stay with the blue, green and red design. They haven't gone back to the black or the greyish design that they've used in the past. I think this is a very nice home kit. The sponsor blends in very well. I like the green and red V. I like the colour of the blue. The blue looks very nice. It's going back to that time from 1995 to about 2000 when they were the Auckland Warriors and they wore that design. So I'd have to give it about a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. It's a cracking kit from the Warriors. And now we move on to the last team on this list. It's the West Tigers. They've pretty much got the same home and away shirts as they did in 2021. Although I think that the colour's a bit different for the 2021 home and away shirts. As you can see, the home shirt is predominantly a Western Suburbs styled shirt with the black, with the white V, and Jackson Hastings is modelling this one. I quite like the home shirt from West in 2022, and the away one is predominantly a Balmain looking one. It's got the gold / orange look to it with the black V, and it's got a bit of a white V over the top. I really don't mind the West Tigers shirts. I thought probably one of their best ones was a few years ago, but these ones are still quite good. I'd have to give the West Tigers home and away about an 8 out of 10. I really like them. I know that not everyone does, but I really like both the West Tigers kits. So that's my video on the 2022 jerseys for the 16 NRL clubs. Obviously, I didn't include every single jersey in there, so I left out the Indigenous jerseys, the Women in League jersey, the Marvel superhero jersey, the Anzac stuff. Left that all out. I also didn't include some of the away kits as well. I'm big on the home shirts. I'm not really big on the away shirts. Maybe some of you out there might have a different opinion on that. But I got all the home shirts, and that's the main thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know which jerseys that you liked and which jerseys that you don't like going into 2022. And let me know which one do you think was the best and which one was the worst. Anyways, this is Rugby League History signing off. And I'll catch us all later in the next one. Tatty bye for now.